Hey guys, before this video starts, I'm just going to put some timestamps on the screen so you can see everything that you need to know. If you've already done something, then you can just skip it. So here's a list of all the time slots and stuff. Hey guys, today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about setting up your server and configuring it to your liking. So right now we're going to be creating our server. So we're going to go to netherhosting.com, click get started. You want to create your account. I'm already created, so I'm going to go and click login. I'm going to log in here. And now I'm in my portal. So you want to go to servers. I already have a server here, but I can create another one. I'm going to type in test, Java, paper. So you can choose whichever one you want. Bedrock is for anyone who's playing on their phone, PS4, anything except a computer basically. And then you want to select your node. So I either have US free or I can have a US mega server, which makes no difference. So I'll create one on that. And once I do that, now I have my test server here. If you click settings, you can upgrade or downgrade it, which we haven't set up for free servers yet. But if you have a premium server, then you can do that, or you can also delete it. So I'm just gonna go back and click manage, and then you'll be sent to our panel. And then you want to use the same login details as you do with the portal. Alright, so I'm going to go click login. And then if you set up two-factor authentication, just put in that code. So I'm going to go do that right now as well. Alright, so I'm now in, and you can see I have my test server here that I just created. So I'm going to go ahead and click manage, and you can see my server is now ready to use, and I can go ahead and click start. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to settings here, and this is where I can change my server name in the description. So I can change this to test2, and I can also go to my startup tab here, and this is my startup commands, which is just flags. So if you want to have a better flag or you want custom ones, you can just open a ticket on our Discord and we can change it for you. And then on your Docker image, this is the Java version that you're running. Don't be confused with the Minecraft version. This is for running lower versions. So if you're running a 1.8 Minecraft server, you need to use Java 8. If you're running a 1.16.5 server, you need to use Java 16, I think. If you want to change the version of Minecraft, latest is the default, but let's just say I want 1.15.2, I'll just type that in there. And then if you had an error, like if you had a space or something, then it'll automatically go back to the latest if there was an error. So I'll just keep that at latest. And then my build number, this is for snapshots, or if you just want a different release as the software. So for paper, there could be a build of 123. So I'll just leave this to latest as well. And then you can also change the server jar file to whatever you like. This is also for the startup. So if I go to my file manager, you can see server.jars here. So I'm gonna keep that as this. So if I changed it to something else, I would just change that there. And now we can go ahead and click start. And while my server is starting up, first I need to accept the Minecraft EULA, which is just to make sure that you can run the server. So here it is, so you can just click I accept, and then your server will restart knowing that you accepted it. Now if we go over to the file manager, you can see I have all of my files here. You have folders, you can create a directory, which is just a folder. Upload, so you can upload files from your computer that are under 100 megabytes. And then you can create a new file as well. So if I just go into help.yml, there's nothing here, but I can type whatever I want. So if I put something here and set it to true, then it will have a color code towards that. But if I change this to this, for instance, it'll all be orange based off of what type of file it is. So I'm not going to save this. And then the databases can't be created for free servers, but they can for premium servers. This is just to connect through Bungee Cord servers if you want to have a rank on both servers and you want them to be connected. And in schedules here, you can create something that you want to automatically run. So if I just set this to restart, this isn't the command, but if I do every 5 minutes and I create schedule, I can click on here and click new task. It'll send a command of /restart, however long you want it to be. So I'll just delete this here. And then on users, you can create a sub-user if you want them to have specific permissions. So you'd enter their email here, and then if I only wanted them to do specific things like creating databases and not deleting it, Same with backup, startup. You can configure everything here. Backups, you can create a backup for your server. Let's just say you can set it up automatically to create backups through the scheduling. So if your server got griefed, you can just reload it back so all of your data would save. And then in the network, this is your port. So right now I have mc.netherhosting.com with a port of 2134. So usually if you had another one, you could create a second port so you could connect to any of them to that specific server. Startup we already talked about, settings we already talked about, activity is just where you can see what people have done on your server. So now my server is up, as you can see here through timings reset. You can see how much RAM you're using, your CPU, and your disk usage. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this IP here, load up Minecraft, and I can go ahead and join it. Alright, so I just launched up my Minecraft, and what I can do is I copied the IP, I'll paste that in there. I can write test server, and now you can see that it is here. So your MOTD, which is just the message of the day, is automatically set to this. You can always change it, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. So I go ahead and join the server, see really fast creation time, and I'm already in. So if I go ahead, you can see the world is very nice, there's no lag. If I go ahead and punch this tree, you'll see it goes instantly. So now if I go back into the console, it shows that I just joined the server, and now I'm going to show you guys what things you can do to configure your server. So what you want to do always at the start is to stop your server so everything saves, and then it'll get reloaded once you're done changing it. So I'll just wait until this is done, which shouldn't take too long. Alright, so my server's now off, and if I go over here you can see I have a bunch of files here. We're not going to be focusing on almost any of these. The only things we're going to be focusing on is server.properties, spigot.yml, bucket.yml, and then plugins, and then you can also change your world. So this is for add-ons for your server, or what it's mostly called is a plugin. This can add different things, it can change your gameplay. There's so many plugins out there, millions easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search up a good plugin that I want. So the best one that I can say right now is Essentials plugin. So I can go here, usually go to Spigot MC. It'll probably take you to a different website, as you can see here, but you can click download now, and then I can see that Essentials X is here. I'm just going to click download. So it's going to download to my computer, and then what I can do is come back here, click upload, and then you can see it's in my downloads, and I'll just click upload. So now I have my plugin here. The only thing is that it hasn't actually been added to my server because it's offline and it hasn't been restarted. So once the server starts, it'll create a folder, and this is how you can edit your actual file. So I'm not going to go in depth of the different plugins that you can edit. This is just to show you how to upload plugins and how to delete them. And then we also have bucket.yml. This is where you can change a bunch of stuff like spawn limits, like ticks, everything. So what I'll do is I'm just going to disable the end, and I'm going to do allow end to false. And then what I'm also going to do is limit monsters so my server doesn't lag as much to just 30. You can change these however you like, it really doesn't matter. And then I have my server.properties here, and there's a bunch of settings here too. You don't need to touch most of them, I'll just go over the main ones. So you can set the seed of the world. If you haven't downloaded a map by yourself, you can set the seed to whatever you want here. It really doesn't matter. And then you can change the game mode. So I'll just set this to creative. So whenever you join, your game mode will automatically be creative. The level name, I'll put this to cool. And this is the MOTD here. So I'm just gonna change this to my server. You can change PvP if you don't want people to fight each other. Generate structures, that's for villages and strongholds, all that. And then the difficulty, I'll put this to normal. Max players, this is where you can change how many players you want. So maybe I want 100,000, then I can set it to that. Online mode, this is if you want cracked players to join. So if you have someone who doesn't have a premium Minecraft account, which is where they bought it from Mojang, then they can join your server. So I'm just gonna put this to false. And then allow flight, which is where people won't get kicked if they're flying. Like if they're hacking or something. This actually isn't if you have creative mode. It'll detect that. And then you have your view distance. So this is the farthest distance that the actual server will send to you. So even if this is at 3 and your render distance is at like 50, it'll automatically go to 3. So I'll just keep this at 10. You can have the Nether. I'll disable this as well, actually. And then you have your port, which you don't need to change. And then you have your simulation distance, which is the same as the render distance. This is just for mobs. And then you have whitelist. So if you only want specific people to join your server with your permission, then you can set this to true. So I'll just keep that at false right now. Spawn NPCs. This is villagers, animals, monsters, spawn protection. This is wherever you join your world, 16 blocks around that, nobody can remove except operators. So I'm going to put this to 0. And the max world size you can keep like that as well. So that's the server.properties there. I'm going to go and click save. And then we also have our spigot.yml. This is a massive file here. You have to change almost none of this. Most of this is just cosmetics. But what I'm going to change here is I'm going to put bungee cord to false. If you have a bungee cord server, you can put that to true. You have to make sure to have that. And then I'm going to change this message when there's an unknown command to you don't have permission. Because why not? And then we can also have it servers restarting. We can just set this to rebooting. So then I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now that is all the main files that you need to worry about. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up my server. This will take a few more minutes because we've added in the Essentials plugin, but after that it'll be running up quickly. And now it shows my server is marked as running. If I just do plugins in here real quick, you can see that Essentials is green, which means that it's working. So if I go into Minecraft and I reload, you can see I changed it to my server and there's 100,000 people that can join. So I'm going to go ahead and join it. And now I'm in. So because it was in offline mode, this means that my skin is actually an Alex or whatever the default skins are. So you could be a Steve as well. If I relog, I could also be a Steve. So what this means is that it doesn't change your actual skin. This is just on the server, but you can also install a plugin called Skins Reload, which makes it so all your skins that you had before will save on this server. So you'll have I'll have my actual skin. So I am now in creative mode, as you can see, because I defaulted, and structures are enabled because there's one right here, a village. And if I go back to the console, you can see I just joined, and that my world folder is cool, so I can actually delete these 3 right here. Now this is where you can op yourself, so you can get admin permissions. So right now, if I go into Minecraft and I do game mode adventure, it's not a command. It says I don't have access to that. Same with if I do GMC or anything. So this is because we don't have op. So we have to go into our console and then do op and then our name, so oago. And if I go here, it says I'm an operator, and now I have access to all these commands. So I'm in adventure now. I'm in survival, creative. I can change it to whatever I want. I have access to all these commands here. There's a lot. And Essentials added in probably more than half of these as well. I can also do /plugins in here, and it shows I have Essentials. And now my server is complete. If you want to add your other plugins, that's perfectly fine.